Going to bed on an empty stomach remains a rite of passage for many Kenyans. Now, for Kenya as a developing country, is it food insecure by necessity or by choice? That develops the basis of our conversation today here on Business Glide, yet another informative edition that we hope will always have an impact on the future of Kenya's economy in the fullness of time. My name is Richard Mwenja. Such a pleasure to have you on board. And who better to help me delve into this subject than this gentleman, literally giving David D a run for his money. He is a jack of all trades, seemingly a master of all. He is a health economist, trade economist, now talking matters agricultural economist. What don't you do, Herman Manyora, in this world?
I don't know. I'm just an all-rounder.
An all-rounder? But when it comes now to representing people of Viga in parliament is where you draw the line.
That's a small job. If I want to represent people, I have to represent the people of Kenya as president. Not MP. MP is a small job.
How do you claim the top tier? Yet
just start there.
There's no one in the history of Kenya who has done so.
No, why? There's always a first person. No chicken seller has ever become president. Ruto is. There's always the first time.
Have you seen your boys, your neighbors in the village, Musalia Mudavadi?
Yeah, he's doing well.
With the billions, yet you and Javi are there. Yeah. What did you do wrong though?
Wow, not having billions is not an issue.
You're contented with that?
Yeah. We have the billions in the heart.
Billions in the heart?
Yes.
For those people in Viga who are looking forward to seeing the name of Herman Manyora, people like the lawyer, Javi, among the top tier billionaires in the club, you are missing out.
Let me tell you for a fact, and I'm not saying this because I don't have money. Money has never excited me. Not at all. Sometimes when I'm hungry, like now I'm working using my tap because I don't have insurance for my vehicle. I feel it.
Come on.
Yeah, I say I wish I had money to buy insurance for my vehicle. But money, the way it excites people, it doesn't excite me. That I should have something in town, a gorofa, I should have, no, it has never occurred to me. It never bothers me. But when there's no gas imeisha na una pesa, then you feel, hey, I need some money. Yeah, but you are about to retire like me, you look, how will I retire? Well, but money in the manner in which people talk about billions, it has never excited me. In fact, I worry. Supposing I got billions today, how will I live? I'll really be unhappy.
I see.
Very unhappy somebody gave me billions.
Let's delve straight into the conversation for the night. Yes. We've seen drought being declared a disaster yet again, year in, year out. We have seen Rigathi Gachagua and a section of state officers flag off food under the ban of food relief to those marginalized areas who are hunger-stricken. Sir, you've actually lived long enough in this country, in as much as the National Drought Authority, or rather Disaster Management Authority, Drought Management Authority, is trying to cushion the situation by sending donations in there, food reliefs in there. Do you think that this is the right conduit to addressing such concerns? Because it's somewhat addressing the shorter term problem rather than the long term effect.
No, it's not. We know even in ordinary life, when there's no food in the home and you are the breadwinner, you are no longer a man. So a country that cannot feed its people, if China, with all those billions of those human beings, India, us with 50 million mouths, we can't feed them. We are useless people. To say the least.
But the government is saying it's trying to put its best foot forward.
Trying what? This country ought to be exporting food.
How can a country that is food insecure export food?
Why are we food insecure? Because of greed. Because of people who take every available opportunity to make money, to make billions. So they frustrate farmers. They allow in imports. Just when the prices of eggs is picking up, they bring in eggs from Uganda, elsewhere, they flood the market, farmers get disoriented, they make losses, they stop that so that they can now make money themselves.
It is done under the ban of strengthening bilateral.
If we had green pastures today, a lot of our milk cannot get market. Why? I was in the village the other day, I was in Uganda, and around Busia. The amount of milk powder that is entering this country is shocking.
But they are coming.
And it's brought by big people in this country, and we are saying it in broad daylight. So it is frustrating the farmer. And that frustration is coming from those who are in power. The rich, the powerful, the leaders. So we cannot be food insecure.
Hold that thought. Those skeptics to your argument would say the country is doing this under the ban of strengthening bilateral trade with Uganda, with Tanzania, and so forth, just opening up the East African community. Do you think there is a problem in that?
Contraband is different from trade. When you smuggle in things, that's not trade.
It is happening?
Yeah, of course. Go to Ghana, go to Busia, you'll see things, you run away. Go to Mombasa and see the kind of things that are coming in the country. You can't. So.
We have cabs in there.
Which cabs? These are all crooks. Everybody is making
Border
money.
patrol units.
Everybody is making money.
But
kitu utaua nyinyi wa Kenya ni kupenda pesa. Mnaabudu pesa. Money is what will finish you. But sometimes, what do people think they can do with this money they are stealing?
Securing the future of their generation.
Just how much money does a Kenyan need? Is a question that I've asked. I was asked by an Indian somebody from America. Just how much money does a Kenyan need? All this stealing that's going on, all these billions these people are making, all these hundreds of millions, you can see people parading during the vetting. Walitengeneza namna gani na watatumia namna gani na watatoka dunia hii na wawache.
So don't you think you are being unfair to the government? You've seen the government come forth and say it is cash-strapped. As they are doing the food relief project, they are doing this under the banner of donor funding and just goodwill and support from our outside borders in there, the external links Kenya has. Do you think by you saying Kenya has the capacity to produce its own food and the government has enough money to fund the agricultural sector, don't you think you're overstretching your expectations on them?
Even donor funding is an industry.
It's goodwill, sir.
It's an industry. Which goodwill? It's an industry where people make money.
NGOs?
All those people are they are in it to make money. All of them. The logistics, transportation, insurance, purchase, everything is money.
But the NGOs are the face of humanity in the world.
Everybody's trying to make money. My friend, you are wasting your time. They will be very unhappy if you became those in the relief industry. If Kenya became food secure, they will be very annoyed. They will be so annoyed. Because they will be so injured, they will be so hurt, they will not make money.
Probably I hold a different view to that, because in as much as saying the donors will be unhappy, Kenya is trying to send delegations in and out to Israel, to Netherlands, to learn on dairy farming.
There's nothing to send anybody to learn. What is there to learn? Nothing. You see, if you want to solve a problem, like I'm laughing, this working party on education, if you want to solve a problem, look at it from the very simple way.
Which is?
And start with the low-hanging fruits. If you want to solve a food problem in this country, just go to the North Rift and end the frustration farmers face first. Just the frustrations, the farmer, you come from Westbridge. I was there the other day. Maize is rotting on the farms because there has been very heavy rain during the harvesting period. Already everybody is losing about 30% of the produce.
Post-harvest lost.
Post-harvest lost. Just deal with that. Storage, drying. Farmers would want to have a facility for drying maize, but it is too expensive. They cannot afford it. So, handle drying of maize. Handle storage, post-harvest loss. Deal with it. Then, for that farmer, manage market. So that there are no middlemen coming to exploit them. So that the following year they can also plant. If you do that alone, the deficit, maize, hakuna. Kuna.
But truth,
this country does not need to do anything to get sufficient maize. The deficit of 10 million bags or so will be managed by merely mitigating what the farmer is going through in the North Rift. Peke yake, which is post-harvest loss, which is marketing that includes value addition. Once you do that, you have more maize than you need, you will export maize.
True to your words, sir,
Yes.
a recent report has been released by a number of agricultural economists therein, and Kenya annually loses an average of 72 billion in post-harvest loss in there.
Africa.
And food wastage.
Africa, for your information, post food waste, no, loss, not waste. Waste is a middle class problem, is a European problem. Loss. Africa loses 50% of the equivalent of the food it imports.
What?
Yeah. 50%. Anytime you import 100 million tons, you have already wasted 500,000 tons. I'm telling you, Kenya does not need to do anything on maize. Not Gulana Kulal, nothing, not GMO. What this country needs is to make sure the farmer in our Singishu, Nandi, Trans Nzoia, and those places is helped in a manner he does not lose his crop.
But then again, trying to address the cry of the farmer in these food baskets,
Yes.
particularly that one in Wasingishu, say in Moisbridge,
Yes.
the government came up actually the strategic food reserves. And therein we are seeing agencies such as the National Cereals and Produce Board. They are there, they are running. How different can they do their business
That
now?
is useless. First of all, the amount of grain under the strategic grain reserve is too little. It cannot buy maize from farmers sufficient. Number two, the National Cereals and Produce Board does not anyone here buy maize when farmers need somebody to buy. They go through the board, we are looking for money, by the time
treasury
they
hasn't
come through
released.
for the farmers, the middlemen have taken all the maize for a song. This joke, it's a joke, and the president of this country knows this. He knows.
He's from North Rift.
He
Are you
knows.
signaling
Come
a
on,
radical
he
surgery
knows.
of such?
He knows the maize farmer in Nandi and Wasingishu does not need any other help apart from the two I've told you, post crop harvest. When during the harvesting and the rains are coming, how do you dry your maize? How do you store the maize? How do you treat the maize? How do you do with moisture content, which is drying? How do you market so that conmen, middlemen do not come to take your maize, because you need to sell the maize to pay fees in January. So you'll take any price. You need to do the next crop, so you need to buy fertilizer. So you sell it. Now, by the time the National Cereal and Produce Board is coming to buy the little they will buy, not sufficient, middlemen have had a field day, and everybody knows this. So when you tell me this country can have... Now, those are the low-hanging fruits. Then you can things like fertilize the plant. Now you are roping in even the consumer, because now the prices will go up for the consumer, but not bad enough for the farmer. You get it?
I get it.
And then long-term value addition. So through value addition, the farmer is able to maximize profits. Now, so once you have done that, then you can bring other interventions, long-term interventions, like looking at how do we use land in this country. Part of the reason why we do not have sufficient food is we have Kenyans sitting on idle land. A law ought to be put in place to ensure that if you have land that is idle, you are not using, and it's arable land, we shall either take it from you or you pay taxes, which is done in other countries. So these are simple things we can do.
I see.
Yeah.
Even as the country is trying to gravitate towards food security, we've seen a recent report by the National Media Group whereby a section of the Kenyan farmers are protesting what they call punitive measures being undertaken by the Agricultural Ministry in regards to boosting food security, introducing or rather mandating these farmers not to use indigenous seed, rather use these genetically modified organisms so that we boost production and in volumes.
Mambo bado.
Do you support those farmers who
No.
protested?
Farmers should not protest. Farmers should even get mad, because we are getting finished.
But you're increasing the volumes of our food.
Which volumes? We have sufficient food, I've told you. We have a deficit of 10 million bags of maize, which you will get the moment the frustration of the farmer ends in North Rift. Here, Natosha, 10 million bags, they will give you. You don't need GMOs. GMOs are destructive. Yeah, GMO, that is disaster. You don't need those things.
The government is looking at an avenue of increasing arable land in Kenya through irrigation. You've seen...
No, you cannot irrigate maize. What for? You, my friend.
We are bringing in Toake Dam,
That is
Tiba Dam,
rubbish.
all that.
That is rubbish. That is those are dams meant for people to eat billions. So when you see people saying they have billions, that they come from there. You don't need to irrigate. Irrigation is not for maize. God has given sufficient rain in North Rift. They don't need anything. You don't need irrigation. North Rift alone can produce more maize than we need, plus Narok. Just do North Rift. Those are that is Trans Nzoia, Uasin Gishu, Nandi. You can do a bit of Elgeyo Marakwet, a bit of Kakamega, the upper side of Kakamega, a bit of Bungoma. Then you do Narok, a bit of Narok and Kajiado, especially Narok. You are done. You have more than 60 million bags of maize, and you need about 55.
In the year of our Lord 2022, do you think that a repetition of Arore and Kimore can happen, even with the exposure that has come?
You don't even need that. You don't need the dams in manner in which they are done in this country. A dam, before you do a dam, you study the topology of the area. A dam is supposed to be an existing basin with the right structures of soil. So scientists will help you. Yes, here we have a basin. With a little calibration, you can make it a better basin and block flow of water and so on and so forth. Okay? And the rivers, and there are rivers coming, we can divert them to pass through the dam, just naturally. Then the geologists will help you the kind of soils that are less porous. The sand comes in. Then you just flow water there and you have a dam at a cost of a few million shillings. Not the billions they are talking. That's a project to eat.
As we gravitate towards the end of the show, sir,
yes,
we have seen a number of farmers, majorly those from Mount Kenya region, have come and said, as much as the country is saying it's investing in research and development in agriculture, they are not feeling it. They say it's more of boardroom presentation, which are actually disconnected with the farmer. Do you support the argument that in Kenya, research and development is actually done in the boardroom? It doesn't gravitate towards research on the local farm?
First of all, no research is done in Kenya.
Calories there.
And when it is done, it is not. There is a wall between the researcher and the user, for example, the farmer.
The farmer.
A big wall.
It doesn't translate to the farm?
Yeah. And then, most of the things you see are done in the air. They are not done on the ground. If you want food production, to increase food production, you do not go into exotic farming. I am against exotic farming. I'm for people using traditional modes of farming and improving and growing that.
Not the Delamere way.
Not the exotic one. The exotic farming is what is responsible for farming in Africa. Before I can handle that, somebody is bringing in GMO, which is higher than exotic farming. We are dead. We are gone. We shall be food dependent.
We've seen wild
And in terms of war, you all die. They just need to turn off the supply of seed. Because in another 10 years, there will be no seed here that can grow other than the GMOs. And the people producing them are the multinationals. Let's not mention them. They could take us to court.
A few sanctions and we are done.
We are done. You can't produce your own food. You are food dependent. It's simple. Forget about the health. The health aspect is another thing. There's an argument about that. We can argue. But what we cannot argue about is that in less than 10 years, no seed known today will ever germinate in this country.
Sticking to that point.
For anything. No crop, no seed that we are using today can ever germinate. The GMOs will have killed them. And there's no biodiversity. So you can only plant GMO seed. And that GMO seed is coming from a multinational company. And the science to sustain that farming, you don't have it. So again, you must import the science to sustain that crop. So you are basically finished people. Even before we talk about whether it has effect on the human body. Yeah.
You are a renowned consultant and you've been in these stakeholder engagements whereby even we have people from the agricultural sector, agricultural economists there in. Are you trying to say all these forums, some of them sponsored by the World Food Programs, normally are a conduit for harvesting money for personal gain or what? Because they come with recommendations in paper, they are presented even to the ministries, to the president.
Yes.
How come they never end up on the field where the farmer is?
The little research we do in the universities and research centers doesn't go anywhere, doesn't get anywhere, nobody listens.
And how about the grants that are given?
The grants that are given
What's agriculture?
Yeah, they don't, you see, when somebody brings a grant on a specific project, And that project is not sustainable. That project belongs to the exotic. It can't work.
They pull out and leave.
Yeah. You must look at what people have done over the years and build on it. So one way of having food security is to build on the traditional.
I see.
Why come with all the problems in Uganda, they have never suffered from food shortage? Because they have never departed from traditional foods and traditional farming. Sisi tukipitia ile Waganda walipitia, mwaka mbili tutakufa sisi wote. Because we want to do exotic farming.
To maintain your peace, I will tell you this. We've seen President Ruto has gone to Uganda. He's come back. He's told he's going to teach all Kenyans agricultural economics. So I think it will not be fair for us to wait and see.
Who will teach us?
President Ruto has said he'll teach
When
you.
he's bringing us GMOs, there's nothing he can teach us. We will teach him that GMOs are bad.
Yes, David D now.
We will tell him GMOs have never worked anywhere well. The places that are being cited where they have worked are places where there is order and where law is never broken, where there are values, where they say, if we are planting GMOs, we shall plant them in this place, in this manner, and nobody will violate that.
But Kenya also has sufficient
Which
legislation.
one?
Yeah.
The moment you say, we cannot say we shall plant GMOs only in a particular part of the country. Watu watabeba na, oh, hii mahindi inafanya mzuri, anaiba mbegu kidogo, wanaenda wanapa. Then the whole country, through pollination, will kill any other seed. But there are countries like America, where you cannot just plant GMO anywhere. And where when you go to the supermarket, the consumer is enlightened enough, and the seller is obligated by law to make clear what foods he's selling in the shelves. This is GMO, this is not. So this cannot work
choose.
here.
Perhaps
It can't work here.
Perhaps what you said sometime back, kila msafara wa mamba huko si Burukenge.
And just before you wind up, even bangi growing, we can't grow it here. There are countries like Zimbabwe. It is grown under control. Where is grown by who?
For what use?
In what type? Ukileta hapo watu watapanda bangi aina yote everywhere. And the country will become a country of zombies. So GMO is going to destroy this country.
But in the meantime, just to cushion the situation, more food trucks should be, dispatched to those
Which
areas.
is embarrassing, but give them food.
All right, there you have it from the renowned public scholar himself, Herman Manyora. I normally say he is a jack of all trades and seemingly a master of all. He's an economist, he is an educationist, talk of it all, a political analyst, you mention it. And that takes us to the wrap of this conversation today here on Business Glide. Time for Fun of the Week. And it is this gentleman going by the name of Cornelius Wanyiga from Bura, who is your former student.
Oh, Wanyiga Cornelius from Bura Irrigation Scheme.
Yeah.
And we are talking about farming.
Yeah.
They should boost those schemes to the original thinking and to the original scale. But Cornelius, thank you very much for being part of this family.
I see. Until next time on Business Glide, always a pleasure to have you on board. Up next on your screen is the Business Glide African Proverb of the Day.